We want the text layer to stay centered when its parent frame resizes. So let's select the text layer to change its constraint settings to center and center. Then let's click Align Horizontal Center and Align Vertical Center to center the text in the frame. Now when we resize the frame, the text layer will stay centered. Now that we have all of our elements, let's tidy things up a titch. First, rename the hero element Impactful Text. Then change the text resizing of the section heading to Auto Height and set its width to 1000 to match our paragraph text. Now let's center everything horizontally. Select the top level frame and press Enter to select all the elements inside the frame. Press Align Horizontal Centers to center the elements to one another. Now open the More Actions menu in the Position section of the right sidebar and select Distribute Vertical Spacing. This distributes our elements evenly apart on the vertical axis, which allows us to use Smart Selection to quickly rearrange our elements. When a selection of objects are spaced evenly apart on both the horizontal and vertical axes, you get access to Smart Selection. Smart Selection lets you quickly rearrange and adjust spacing between two or more layers in a selection without having to go through the tedious task of adjusting it manually. You'll know when Smart Selection is available if you hover over the selected elements and you see pink circles and pink handles. If you don't see them, try using Tidy Up in the Position section of the right sidebar to make sure objects are evenly distributed on the vertical and horizontal axes. Click and drag the pink circles to rearrange the objects while maintaining the flow and layout. Select a pink circle and use the keyboard shortcut to duplicate the object and add it to the Smart Selection flow. You can even hold Shift to select multiple layers so you can duplicate and move objects even faster. Hover over the pink handles to see the space between objects. Then click and drag the pink handles to increase or decrease the space between. You can also use the space between fields in the layout section of the right sidebar to enter in a value. Smart Selection can be a great tool to help you experiment with different layouts throughout the early phases of the design process. Feel free to play around with Smart Selection using the elements on the case study page, but don't stress too much about perfecting the spacing and layout. We'll revisit these elements in an upcoming lesson when we learn about auto layout. We just laid out the elements we need to detail our case studies. We started with a desktop-sized frame preset, which was used to build our text layers, image block, and hero elements. Along the way, we discovered a new way to add a frame using frame selection, and that constraints impact how child layers respond to the resizing of their parent container. Lastly, we tidied our layers up and used Smart Selection to rearrange and adjust spacing. In the next lesson, we'll learn how to build a responsive button element using auto layout and turn it into a component that we can reuse throughout our designs. We'll see you there.